The next item, Commissioners, is public meeting number 5. It's an application for a certificate of appropriateness at 5 Gramercy Park West in the Gramercy Park Historic District, docket number 15-9672, block 876, lot 14. And this is a Greek Revival-style townhouse built between 1844 and 50. And the application is to amend certificate of appropriateness number 15-1480 for modifications to the front facade. And this was originally heard on July 9th. July 9th, 2013, and August 13th, 2013.
Good morning, Commissioners. Abby Harlow, Preservation Staff. The application is to amend an approved certificate of appropriateness issued in 2013, approving modifications to the front and rear facades of 5 Gramercy Park West, which is located on the west side of Gramercy Park between East 21st and East 20th Street in the Gramercy Park Historic District. The Commission may recall that in 2013, the Commission approved replacing a previously removed historic cast iron porch with a new modern cast iron porch utilizing ornamentation based on the design of historic ornamentation, as well as replacing the modern 6/6 windows throughout the facade with wood multi-light casement windows at the parlor level and wood 1/1 windows throughout the rest of the facade. In addition to the construction of a rear addition and other alterations at the rear of the building. This application is to install steel multi-light casement windows throughout the front facade instead of the approved wood casement windows at the parlor floor level and wood 1/1 double hung windows throughout the upper levels and basement levels. And the applicant is here to discuss the details of the proposal.
We'll reopen the hearing. Seconded.
Good morning still, I think. I'm Stephanie Goto. And hello to some of the new members of the Commission. Thank you for having us back. It's been a year. This is 5 Gramercy Park West. As Abby had explained, this is the existing condition, and I will fast forward one. Existing condition, and then we have been approved to do the 1/1 windows, with casement style windows at the ground level. And then we are now proposing to recall maybe the existing a bit more, to do a multi-light window in a casement style. And you can see this is the porch that we presented to you a year ago. It's cast iron, and it's recalling the history and bringing back what used to be part of the building. And I think we were very focused on the details of the porch and simplified the window maybe possibly too much. And in the current proposal, we would like to, again, recall the multi-lights and perhaps be in more harmony with the detail and ornamentation of the porch. Just a historic photo, a little bit of history because I think it's relevant to why we are proposing this layering. This is Gramercy Park West, 1905. You can see that the street is very unified, the cornice is unified. It's very hard to see what's going on with the windows. Some of them have shutters, some of them are open, some of them are closed. You see the unification of the porch. 2012, a couple years ago in the winter, you can see 5 Gramercy is without a porch, and also the porches for 1 and 2 have been removed for a very long time now. You can see the cornice line also has changed, and they're different colors, they're different styles. At 5 Gramercy, the parapet is higher, the windows are taller at the top. A lot is being altered and, let's say, maybe layered again. Just going back to history, I'll go very quickly. This is 1925. You can see clearly 1 and 2 Gramercy casement style windows. Again, a change to the top of the building here. Cornices are not aligning, and 5 Gramercy is here. This is 1929. You can see a little bit better that our cornice is a diamond pattern. It's different from our neighbors. Here there's shutters, here there's a porch, here there's no porch. And then Gramercy Park in the whole, I think if you think of it as a very unique place, it has a collection of facades. It's harmonizing in the collection rather than, and in the individuals rather than it being all in the same style. And here is 2012. In the wintertime, it's a little easier to see. You can see that even within 2 years, there's a big change. There's been a lot of restoration in the facades. You can see here that, I'm just going to flip back. The Gramercy has done a lot of investment to upgrade their facade. The colors are different. Again, the cornices are different, the windows are different. And then again, porches are removed on the first two, existing on the second two, and ours will be replaced in the future. And then Gramercy Park, I know you're very familiar, very quickly, unique mix of facades that harmonize. All of these buildings work together as a family, but they're very, very unique and different. Different style windows, divided lights, and then also different renovations that have been approved by landmarks. And then this is the rest of Gramercy Park South. You can see these two homes were built in a similar time as ours. This one is under renovation. You may be familiar with number 23. This one I wanted to talk to you about a little bit as an example because you can see number 22, this is 22, a sliver here, casement windows in the early 1900s. This is probably when this window type was becoming popular. And then you can see 22 today, it's been completed already now for a few years. There's different style windows, and then they've actually increased the top windows in all three of these bays. And then back to Gramercy Park West, this is number 2. You can see here that the top here, casement style, as opposed to in the 1800s or 1900s when the photo was taken, that there were these two smaller windows. Now the building has changed. And then just some other precedents to let you know that we've actually looked at other buildings in New York about the same period. This is St. Luke's Place. We found precedents where there are casement style windows. There is a different mix that harmonizes again. All these buildings have their unique identity, but they work together. And also on Morton Street, built around the same time, 1900, there's different style buildings and different styles of windows. So back to our project and an illustration of the window in our proposal. And I'll show it to you with the porch so you can kind of see.
Mention, it didn't come up at all, but the windows you're proposing are steel casement windows.
Yes, because I think there's a little more refinement and it will be less bulky, and so it will be more in kind to what is existing. And obviously the technology is available to make it appear historic rather than new.
A question?
Okay, yes, Roberta and then Michael.
So are you saying that the windows are historic to what period? You're saying that they're not, you're not saying original?
We're not trying to, you can see that in our porch, and I think you were here for our presentation a year ago.
Yes.
We're not trying to recreate history, but we are trying to recall and to also harmonize with the block that has neighbors with porches. I think this is a layering. We're proposing another layering. Our cornice is different from our neighbors. The windows are different all around the park. This, we feel, is a style that is in balance with the porch that will happen in a year or so. And that we also think the divided lights are more similar to what is existing now, rather than this kind of simplified, plain Jane, kind of basic 1/1. So not recalling a particular history, but I think adding to the history of this change around the park, and particularly this building, first building built in Gramercy Park in 1843. So I think this has gone through, if a building can tell a story, it's gone through a lot of.
Okay. Michael?
You explained, you said that these would be more in kind with what is existing.
Yes, correct.
Explain to me where else you've seen steel windows on Gramercy that are similar to that.
So I guess in proportion, in scale, and in the divided light, I feel that it's a little bit has more character. That was really what I was referring to. But if you look at Gramercy Park,
What sort of character are you talking about?
oh, I think it's for us, it's a more detailed, slightly more refined, delicate nature that has a, let's say, clean ornamentation rather than something that has no ornamentation.
So you're saying your proposed is more similar to what was historic than what was approved?
Yes,
Because it has a finer grain in terms of the window treatment?
yes.
Well, now, what would happen
Yeah.
if it were wood?
Right.
I mean, like the others that you are,
Wood is
Referencing.
certainly an option for materiality to
Mhm.
make these windows. I think it's maybe heavier, maybe more costly, it might be more involved in terms of the actual structure, so.
It almost,
thicker.
yes. It seems like if you're going to have so many panes,
Mhm.
which is more than what you have right now, right? Which is,
It is
the
a
w-
little bit more.
it is
yes.
more, and so then in that case, I think you want the mullions to be thinner and more delicate, because the wood, either you should have less panes and go back to wood, or maybe the casement is okay, but you do see actual steel windows, is that right?
Because, as your point, we wanted to keep it light and refined and still in the same spirit as the existing, but it was important for us to have a casement style rather than functionally this window is similar to this window.
And you have casement style on your 1925 image, right?
That's
Not
correct,
Not on
yeah.
your own building, but on,
That's correct.
the
So
corner buildings.
along the facade
Right,
of
those
Gramercy
two.
Park,
Yeah.
these two probably built in sequence. These were earlier, but in the same period or around the same time, you see the history. So I
Are
think
those metal or those are wood? Those windows?
so I believe most of them are wood. These are bigger windows.
Mhm.
I haven't been close enough to these to determine 100%.
Okay. Other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, all right, okay, so if there are no other questions, we can close the hearing, okay. Yes, Marjorie, you want to say something?
no, this is a public meeting.
This is a
Okay,
public
okay.
meeting, yes, exactly. All right, comments or questions? I think the applicant has made their case that they want to probably bring more, let's say, nuance to the windows as what was previously approved, even though the previously approved windows are very consistent with the other two buildings that we have. Does anybody have concerns about this? Yes? Michael?
I'm okay with the change to the casement operation, but I think the material should remain wood, and I think there should be fewer lights on the upper windows.
Okay. Other comments? Yes?
I actually, I agree with that it could be casement because there's precedent in the immediate, on the block, actually. And if we just talk about how we do approve replacement of wood windows with aluminum windows, then and fiberglass. So I'm not sure why we would object to steel if it's a durable material that is a replacement for, and it's rare that we see actually people going voluntarily for steel windows.
Now, I'm sorry.
Yes.
One of the things that we often see, though, are the details of the new windows, which or then can be used to persuade us that these new steel or aluminum windows, in terms of profile, have something in common with wood. So I think that's lacking in terms of, like, if you want to sell this other material, then those details might have helped, but.
You mean
we're
in terms of
lacking.
the window details?
Yes, window details.
Okay.
At least I don't see any. I don't think we're missing them.
With respect to material, generally in row houses, we have not approved metal. We do it in larger buildings, and that sort of follows the sort of historic use of the rules. However, many of the row houses, I think the ones to the right are an example, row houses of this period were often altered in the early 20th century with the installation of steel casement windows. So I think if a metal window were to be found appropriate, it probably would pair well with a casement operation that sort of evokes a 1920s alteration. So.
All right, so, Michael, you feel strongly about going back to wood and having smaller lights? Okay, well, I think we can ask the applicant to work with staff and to have just, while I think we can approve the change from what was previously approved, but they can work with staff to get wood and have fewer lights to be more reflective of what is there today. Okay? All right, so we can vote this out. Marjorie, you want to read it? Read the resolution?
In the matter of a certificate of appropriateness for 5 Gramercy Park West in the Gramercy Park Historic District, the application is to amend certificate of appropriateness 15-1480 for modifications to the front facade. I recommend approval, finding that the proposed work will not result in the loss of any significant historic fabric, that the presence of multi-light casement windows will be in keeping with the varied streetscape, which features a variety of window types, and that the work will not diminish the special architectural and historic character of the building, which features multiple historic and architectural changes of the building over time, provided that the applicant work with staff to modify the material of the building of the windows from steel to wood and modify the quantity of upper lights on the upper floor. Yes.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, this application's passed.
Okay. Then the next